Unsafe vehicles were certified roadworthy by a private Victoria Vehicle Inspection Center. Now that center is under investigation. Victoria police say 2 vehicles, including a taxi and a limousine, were found to be defective. They found a seatbelt that didn't work, threadbare tires, and brake problems were all given the green light when they shouldn't have been. And even though police and the Ministry of Transportation know the rules were broken, the business is still certifying vehicles. A News reporter Stephen Andrew has exclusive details on the investigation.
Imagine this limousine with this tire going over the Malahat at 90 kilometers an hour when that tire blows out, and what could possibly happen.
A tire with a 7-centimeter bulge, an exhaust pipe being attached to the underside of a limo with a rusted piece of wire, and a broken seatbelt.
What's of interest here are these 2 wires that have been purposely twisted together. That has been done by somebody who we don't know, but that could potentially defeat the crash sensors in the vehicle.
These are just some of the defects police and Ministry of Transportation investigators found during an investigation of vehicles certified by James Bay Service Centre in Victoria. An investigation that began in March when Vic PD pulled over a taxi.
The taxi was examined at the garage, which is licensed as a designated inspection facility by the province, and passed a vehicle inspection. Our officers then impounded the taxi 2 days later, and after being driven only 6 kilometers, had it re-inspected at a different facility. The taxi failed 11 of the 12 major categories that are inspected at designated inspection facilities.
We asked the mechanic who says he conducted the inspection on the taxi for his response to the allegations. At first, he didn't want to talk about the issue. Then, after repeated questions, offered this explanation.
I shouldn't have done it. I was trying to help the customer out by trying to get the paperwork back and forth from Vancouver, and I was going to finish the car the next day. I got late in the day. I couldn't finish it that day. I
was the officer that went in there and requested a copy of the past certificate. He ran it through the fax copier and gave me a copy of it. It has his signature on the bottom, and it has a decal attached to the top of it, showing the date and time that it was passed.
Steve Orange admits he received and paid a $311 fine for approving the taxi with the 11 safety issues. And ministry officials confirmed James Bay Service Centre has also paid a fine for approving vehicles later discovered to have safety issues. But despite recommendations from the Ministry of Transportation's own auditors, the James Bay Service Centre continues to inspect and issue safety certificates.
Have any of your staff recommended to you that the license be pulled from this facility?
We have recommendations from our field staff. There, I believe, is a recommendation that a suspension or something along those lines be looked at for this facility.
When did you receive that information?
It would be back in April.
And why hasn't that occurred?
Because we're collecting more evidence, and we'll continue to collect evidence. From the inspections that we're doing now, we are not getting an indication that there is a systemic problem with this facility. They seem to be complying. They understand that we're looking at them. We've been in, we've followed up with them in audits, that type of thing, and we continue to do that.
Well, let me ask you, if someone had died in this vehicle because it involved in a crash, you'd be pulling that license today, wouldn't you?
We would be doing the same type of an investigation as we do.
And Stephen Andrew joins us with more information on the story. Stephen, how many inspection facilities are there in Vancouver Island?
Well, Mary Beth, the ministry says there are more than 300 inspection facilities on Vancouver Island, about 200 of those in Greater Victoria, and they have 4 field inspectors for the entire island watching over those facilities in addition to doing other work. But even though the ministry knew about this media briefing today, it says it didn't have any information on how many licenses that it has pulled since the private inspection facilities program began. The ministry said it would provide that information to us this morning, but as of tonight, we are still waiting for it.
Stephen Andrew reporting live. Thank you.
You're welcome.